Is Bud Light's board going to get sued for their recent marketing activities? So, a lot of people on the internet have been talking about the Bud Light situation. I've even seen comments were saying, hey, the board of directors should get sued for this. We need to take a step back here for a second and first realize that Bud Light doesn't really have a board of directors per se. It's part of a bigger company, Anheuser-Busch. I'm not sure how their internal operations are organized. They may have a subsidiary set up under the name of Bud Light for liability or tax or other structuring reasons. But in reality, the company is being run at the top level, the Anheuser-Busch board. And some people are now so frustrated with what's happened with this marketing strategy and the potential impact on the share price that they're saying, should the board get sued? So I want to take a step back, examine a little bit about this from a very general perspective. As a business lawyer and a corporate lawyer, I want to give you some ideas of kind of how this analysis would go. Of course, all of this will depend on specific facts, specific state law, and specific issues. But speaking in general, if we have a company with a board of directors, that board of directors has a fiduciary duty, and many people are familiar with that. And there are many famous cases where boards of directors have been sued, sometimes successfully, for not fulfilling their duty to the shareholders. Basically, their duty is to try to do what's good for the long-term health of the company without getting overcomplicated about it. So they're working that direction. But now they've made potentially, or at least somebody in the company has made a decision to launch a marketing strategy which has caused major backlash. Now people are upset about what's happening. So does this lead to the potential for a lawsuit where these shareholders can go after it? Well, we also have to look at the fact that there is the business judgment rule, which basically says if the board of directors is exercising business judgment, that their decisions should be protected. There are some things where it's not clear what's best, right? There's a lot of decision making within the business world where we have to decide. Maybe there was very intentional strategy here at Bud Light. We'd love to hear your comments about that, of course, below if you think that this was very intentional. Did Bud Light jump into the strategy in an attempt to reposition their brand? Or perhaps a marketing person just jumped into this very zealously and didn't think about the overall brand. All of these things are pointing to questions about whether the board was in control and whether there was adequate decision making or whether there was proper delegation. We could see some attacks there, but the reality is marketing decisions of businesses often are going to fall within that business judgment rule. You're going to have to take stands. You're going to have to figure out which marketing to run, and it's just part of doing business. It may or may not really be a fiduciary issue to protect the shareholders to pick what is the right long-term strategy. Where's the market going? How should this company be positioned? What customers should they cater to? These are traditional types of business decisions. So I expect, if there was ever a challenge, that it would probably come down to the fact that a court would realize that this board of directors has to make decisions, just like you have to make decisions in your business, and you can't be attacked by your shareholders every time you make a judgment call, because every judgment call could be a little murky unless it starts getting over to that boundary where it's clearly a violation of your duties for some reason. There's a conflict, there's an interest, it's clearly just erroneous decision making that was not based on good research. There are legal theories, of course, to attack fiduciary duties, but just making a common everyday business decision and a strategy decision is usually not going to lead to that. So we'd love to hear your comments. Remember that comments here on social media and video channels are not confidential, so don't put anything in there you wouldn't want other people seeing. And of course, I hope you subscribe to the channel so that we can be in more conversations in the future and we can bring you more content about business.